The moment you start explaining yourself, you have already given up. Imagine it. A comment is tossed your way, a tiny poke at a party. Not a question meant to learn, but one made to test your spot. You feel your belly turn, your chest get tight. The urge is instant. Clarify, explain, defend. It feels like safety, but in that very second, without seeing it, you have handed over your power. You have accepted the trial. Worse, you have agreed to stand as the guilty one. Stoicism offers a tough but free truth. You are not to blame for how others see your silence, your rules, or your life. You are only in charge of your heart. Do not beg to be seen. Stand firm. Stand sure. Let the storm pass while you stay rooted like a very old tree. And if something in you feels pulled toward that calm, toward clarity, toward being steady in a world hooked on reaction, think about following. Not for us, but for the version of you ready to stop defending and start living in peace. It starts small. A raised eyebrow, a passing remark, a question that sounds okay but hits just hard enough to hurt. In that moment, something old wakes up in you, a reflex older than talk itself. You open your mouth. You give details. You soften your voice. You guard your name, your goals, your face, without ever asking who gave them the right to judge you in the first place. This giving up feels natural, not because you are weak, but because you truly want to be understood. You want people to see you right. Yet the moment you start defending, you have stepped into their story. You have quietly agreed their view matters more than your own inner truth. That is the hidden cage we walk into, not made with metal bars, but with endless talking. We think we are making things clear. In fact, we are acting, hoping words will stop the pain, trying to manage views as if it were a glass we could clean. But it is not a glass. It is a bent image shaped by whoever is looking. Epictetus said, "If someone talks bad about you, do not defend yourself. Just say he must not know me well, for there are many other flaws he could have said." That is not a joke. That is letting go. That is power. When you stop defending, you step out of the part they gave you. You become a mystery, and people hate what they cannot label. There is freedom in knowing you are not forced to be understood. Your value does not shrink when someone sees you wrong. Your worth does not fall because someone disagrees. But to live this way, you must snap an old habit, one made when love felt like a deal, when safety relied on being good. You once explained yourself to avoid trouble, to fix ties, to feel safe. That habit stayed with you as an adult. Now it makes you weak. You are no longer that kid. You do not need a green light to exist in peace. Often those asking for answers are not looking for truth. They are looking for a handle. Your defense becomes the rope they pull. So next time your heart beats fast under blame, stop. Ask, what happens if I do not reply? Most attacks die without your fuel. They starve. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are upset by anything outside, it is not the thing itself that bugs you, but your view of it. The power you thought was stolen from you was actually given away." Once you see that, you start noticing how often you explain basic choices. How many times you trade peace for a quick nod. But something changes when you fight that urge. When your acts talk instead of your words. You build inner weight, steady, firm. Carl Jung said, "The goal of a life is to become who you truly are, not who others like, not who feels safe to them. Who you are. Let them get it wrong. Let them tell their tales. Your job is not to fix their views. Your job is to live in truth. This does not mean being cold or mean. It means acting with a goal, not fear. Speaking when it helps truth, not ego. Seneca said, "No one can live happy without wisdom." And wisdom rarely fights. It stands still, firmly set in itself. When you stop feeling the need to explain, you find a different kind of power. Not loud power, deep power. You become hard to reach, not because you fight harder, but because you refuse to show up for wars that were never yours. You are no longer a person on trial in someone else's court. You are someone who knows that being seen wrong is a small price for being free. You did not pick this habit on purpose. It was made over time. Once defending yourself kept you safe. Now it keeps you small. When someone tests your reasons today, there is no judge able to take your worth. There is only another person seeing life through their own fears. When you run to defend, you put their view above your own. And nothing tires you faster than hunting for a good job in a world of projections. You start to see that defending yourself becomes who you are, proving you are nice, worthy, good. But truth does not need proof, it just is. To break this loop, you do not need to get hard. You need clarity. Most blame is not about truth, it is about control. Someone unhappy with your lines shifts that pain onto you. And you, trained to fix everything, run to carry it. But what if you did not? Seneca said we suffer more than we have to when we fear pain. Every time you try to stop a wrong judgment, you hurt twice. Funny enough, the more you try to look honest, the more shady you look. The more you plead to be seen, the more you are missed. Shame slides in, that empty feeling of not being enough. But shame is not your foe. It shows you where you gave away your power. You are not here to be easy to swallow. You are here to live truly. Some will get it wrong. That is not a fail. It is life. Silence picked by choice becomes your best reply. There is a quiet ache in almost everyone, a wish to be truly seen. Not on the top, but deep down. Yet most people are not listening to learn. They are listening to put you in a box. Each time you defend yourself, you put your peace into hands that were never meant to hold it. But there is power in letting them be wrong. Not out of pride, but out of being sure. If you do not see me, that is fine. I see myself. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the views of thousands mean nothing if none know the topic. And who knows you better than you? When that becomes enough, when your own view replaces the hunger for praise, everything shifts. Silence becomes a presence. Stillness becomes power. When blamed, you can admit truth calmly. Yes, I made a mistake. But when truth turns into a label, you are a failure. You owe them nothing. Think instead of reacting. That is one way to see it. Simple, firm, over. You are not the version of you that lives in someone else's head. Stoicism is not being away from truth. It is being away from lies. Own your slips quietly, but refuse names that lock you in. Seneca noted that wanting more leads to being poor, even wanting praise. Real wealth is the skill to hear blame without soaking it in, thinking over reacting, again and again. In the end, you stop entering rooms where your worth is a debate. You walk away, calm, set, whole, safe not through force, but through depth. Marcus Aurelius said the soul takes the color of its thoughts. When your thoughts are set in truth instead of praise, your spirit stays pure. Becoming safe from judgment is not rising above others. It is sinking deep into yourself. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to know yourself so well that being seen wrong no longer moves you. Stand firm, talk less, be more. And if something in you felt this, there is more for you in the next video.